My name is Alice Nabrala Walker Nelson, and I'm from Yundimu. Kumanjayi Walker was my grandson, my big sister's grandson, but I'm the young grandmother for him. When my big sister got him and grew him up for a little while, then he gave the Kumanjayi Walker to Leanne, Leanne Ophel. That's where he grew up. He was growing up really well, and he was loved by many families, Leanne's family and my sister's family. And every time he used to come back to Yundamo, he would send Kumanjayi to us to see his blood family. And we loved him, and we used to make jokes, sit down with us, loved all his sisters and brothers and his cousins. Yeah, he wasn't a violent boy. He was really good, sharing things with his family. And he could come and sit with me and my sister, give us a big hug. He was starting to know his blood family, Walker family. When he got shot, I came back from a funeral, and I didn't go to the graveyard, so I came back to my sister's house, and I was just laying down and sleeping. Then I heard some of the people up north screaming, crying, and I thought it was fight between Nilpi mob. That's what I was thinking. But I sent one of my niece to go and check what was happening. And when she went and she came back crying, and she told us that my nephew got shot by police. And I said, who? The one that Leon grew him up. Then I started screaming, crying. And I said, is it real? So we were crying, crying. Then we all went to the police station. That's where nearly all of the Yundumi were at the police station, waiting to see if he was alive. They didn't know. We didn't know that he was alive. Um, we were screaming and talking. Can you show us? We want to know if he's alive. But we were thinking that when someone gets shot, he must be gone. Or when someone fight with anyone, we think that when he's in the prison or in the hospital, we can still listen to him that he's screaming, but we didn't hear that. The police were telling us a lie that he was fighting and he was calling out and saying that he was still alive, but they were telling us a liar. Yeah, we couldn't hear him screaming or anything. We knew that he was quiet. He must have gone. That's what we were saying when we were standing outside. In our culture, we know, we understand. Yeah, yeah. People thought it was Kumanjayi going on the plane, but it wasn't. It was Rolf. They took Rolf on the ambulance to the plane. Yeah. Well, Kumanjayi's body was still there in the police station. Maybe if someone should go in with him to the station, like Leanne or other families, taking him by himself, it wasn't really good. When he went away from us, we are still sad. We are still thinking about him. We still have photos of him, even though it's about 2-3 years back that he left us, and we are still sad. Families are real sad. This universe upside down. We wouldn't think about anything, just crying, crying. Wouldn't know what to do.
Whatever media's been writing about him, a violent young fella, I tell you, he was a really quiet young fella. Kumanjayi and Keisha were always happy when they're together. Real happy and, just enjoying life with each other. Yeah, and I'd always hear them laughing a lot, and I just sort of giggled quietly in my, and, he was a really, a really good young fella. He takes Keisha and them would do cleaning whenever they can, after finding anything that's boring for them, they do something. We was at the funeral, attending the funeral for Jean's younger brother, and we were all finishing up now, just returning to our car. Then we got a phone call, but everybody heard that shot. Yeah, they all raced down, we all raced back, and then I got a phone call from my daughter-in-law. Yes, so and so has been shot. Yeah, and we all started after a big sad funeral with one of our family members. We had another thing going, and that was all, just too much, just too much. And today, we just can't get over that feeling, every time we got to think about it. We all cried in our cars, all driving back to that house. Everybody went into their house, what they saw there, it's really, sadness, came over them, what they saw, just crying. We all then decided we would all go to the police station, you know. We all sat there for hours and hours, hours and hours and crying. People were angry, and we were all still crying. My granddaughter and me and my family were all sitting in another group. There were family groups sitting there, but we all came together as one, and it was, hard for us to, you know, get that feeling of our, yes, it's a really strange thing that happened in our community. It happens in other places, in America, in Africa, or wherever, in other states, in the state, in Australia, but not in Outback. Like in the mill. We had many police working here, getting to know the families, getting to know the culture. Many of our police force that were working here, they come to know the families. Anyway, but this is just a bad thing for the community that happened that day. Like where they can just come and shoot somebody, what they do in the movies, you know. And it's hard to believe. How can we, keep on? We are strong cultural people here in Yundamu, Popanya, wherever, and we know that that kind of thing is not appropriate for us, people to see and know about it or see what happened, because it's too much. Today we're still thinking about it. We can, we're still talking about it. And how can we come up with that? Some police are good when we come to know them. That's why if they want to come to look for somebody, they gotta come to us, ask them. But some are good. You know, they don't look for recognition. These community police that have been working here, I mean, they should be recognized for doing a good job. But they people like the ones that came in to do this thing took a young man's life. He's not a hero. He's just somebody who's took somebody's life. And it's enough. For losing somebody like that, it's in our mind, it's in our heart, it's in our spirit. We still think about it. I don't know about him, the man who took his life. I don't know what he thinks. Yeah, it's just cutting short a young man's life. You know, he could have just, they could have just found some way to be able to take him back without taking his life. Well, because we need the government to understand. These people, they are joining the police force. They can't just come and you know be tough in our communities. There are elders in these communities. They can be able to talk to. We don't want another Rolf coming in our community to do these kind of things. We want to be able to work together. Work together. You know, whatever things, even government got to realize that we are the indigenous people of this land, and we want to be able to help our young people. I really go. I'm missing him all the time. I talk about him. Yeah, and if there is a way in the Northern Territory that those kind of things won't happen again in the territory. I know it's happening up in Darwin and all that, but here in the Central Australian remote communities, we want to be able to be strong, strong, build strong connection with the police that are working on in the community, so that we can work together and not be able to, let others come in and do bad things in our community. We want to be able to be strong, just to look after our young people, because they are a generation. We won't live forever, but we want to be able to teach our young people and help them go through this life. You know, teaching them, talking to them, whatever thing they are doing is bad for them, alcohol, whatever drugs they're taking. We want to be able to talk to them. There's a way that we can remember that young fella, to be able to help other young people, save their lives. Yes, because right now every time I talk about him, it's just too emotional for me. Anyway. I know it's very hard for me to talk about this all the time. Anyway, because I lived with him, I cared for him. I cared for him in this house. My granddaughter found joy and happiness with him. Yeah. We talk about him all the time, and this is what we go through, even our family too. Yeah. And it's a very a strange picture that we can see all the time in our mind. How his life was cut short.
Louanna Williams. I met Kumanjayi in Alice Springs when he was born. His mother and father brought him to Walker Camp to meet his father's side family. Frankie was living with his mother in Alice Springs, and yeah, and Frankie and his missus and Kumanjayi was living in Walker Camp with his mother. Kumanjayi, and he grew up a really happy person, but in between his life, something caught him, and I like to maybe friend that he was doing silly things that made him do things what he like he was following what the friend was doing, because living in town was really bad, and growing up in town camps, and they do silly things, and things got out of hands, and Leanne had to go through a lot of stress. She never asked for help with family. He struggled herself to for Kumanjayi to get him on right track. It was hard for her. When he was here, we trying to sit down and talk to him, but he's always running from the police. I keep chasing him. Never rest. It's like nobody didn't listen to him. Maybe he had something to say, but just pass on the little messages for families to families, trying to get a help. When we went to the police station, everything was all locked up. Even the screen, window, lights were shut, and there was no communication between us and the police. They didn't tell us what was happening. We got there about 7. It was late at 9, 12, 11, 12. And the plane that came had no light that night. They didn't talk about um um the plane that came that night, and the ambulance. And they was working together. And for me, what I think about the police is, I thought they here to no, no, to serve and to protect the people and the community itself. But what they've done to our nephew was wrong. But they've only picked out really bad things about Kumanjayi in the court. Bad things, but they have only known him what they've done. They only known him through what was written in their system, but they never knew him in person. It affected me because of my nephew, what I've done to my nephew, and then I look at my kids. I don't trust them anymore. I don't even want to talk to them. Because if they would have leave him alone and gave him a chance, another chance to live, things would change. Change if it would take one step at a time for him to change with the support of people, family, like other organization helping him and family as well. Those are the things if they were to work together to bring him to the person that way he was before. Like lift him up from what he was going through. Because we didn't see what he was going through Don Dale's, because we don't know what's happening behind bars. We don't see it. These guardians can take long time to paperwork and stuff. But all that time we were sitting in silence. We never had our says. All our yappers need to be heard. We don't need to be sitting in silent all the time. We're trying to say that we need to come together and work things out, not before things get worse. We don't want this to happen again.
He stayed with me. I take care of Kumanjayi when he was 1 year old to 2 years old. Then our mom take him back to take care of her. Yeah, my niece Selena Lane at Alice Springs, at Linda Bell, Saltwell in Alice Springs. Then the family called me that he got shot by the police. And some of the family said, oh, maybe he's coming on the flying doctor to Alice Springs Hospital. Then me and my family, we went to Alice Springs Hospital, maybe at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And we was waiting for the answer to say that I was just asking if he was still alive or dead. But I was waiting from 9 o'clock at night to 4:30 in the morning. I left the Alice Springs Hospital. I was outside the hospital holding my little baby and waiting for the answer. But I didn't know that he was already dead in the afternoon before the sun went down. Kumanjayi was already dead. 10 o'clock in the morning. Now my family from here in Popanya rang me and told me that he passed away. I fell down on the floor, hurt myself and crying. Yeah, we was all crying, we got all upset. Everybody in the family, we didn't have a chance to say goodbye to him. He was just he was just a 19 years old that didn't see family, just left us. Like when Kumanjayi passed away, me, I was really in pain and really sorry and crying, not happy because Kumanjayi just passed away that quick when he got shot. Mhm. And me, I'm still thinking about my grandson. Inside my heart is still crying because in a Lane family, young life passed away is Kumanjayi and his mother in my family. And Kumanjayi's life been taken away from that policeman. It was too young, and they used that gun to shoot my grandson. There was maybe 4, 6 who they could have been arrest him and take him to jail. Easy. People can hold him, 4 can hold him and take him, arrest him and take him to jail. But they use him gun to shoot him. And that policeman been killed my grandson. I still think about Kumanjayi. I sometimes like I walk around and I cry because I miss Kumanjayi. Never seen Kumanjayi's face. Only I see Kumanjayi's face on those T-shirts, and it makes me cry. Yeah.